quick introduction to CISA Domain 3 scope. Okay, what is the importance of auditing, acquisition, development, and implementation? Exploring will also explore the SDLC, system development lifecycle essentials, key controls for effective project management and governance, vendor selection and contract auditing best practices, risk management strategies in system implementation, how Domain 3 boosts CISA success and career growth. InfosecTrain's expert-led training and exam preparation advantage. We do guide all the participants with their exam preparation. Domain 3 mainly focuses on information system acquisition, development, and implementation. So what does it mean? You acquire the system, you buy the system, you develop it, and you implement it. Okay. So ensure candidates can assess the effectiveness of process used for these activities. No. So this domain covers areas like developing business cases, that is a document which justifies your investment in the project, IT supplier selection, project management, developing the system, what is your readiness of implementation, and post implementation reviews, that you can also call it as a PIR. Domain 3 is divided into two parts. Part A is information system acquisition and development. In this part, you see various aspects about project governance and management, business case and feasibility analysis, system development methodologies, and control identification and design. Now, what is a project governance and management? You have a project, okay, that is, it has some start date and end date. You need to monitor it and you need to manage it. Business case and feasibility analysis. Before you start implementing any project, there is something called as, you developed a business case, okay, that is justification for the need of that project, and feasibility analysis. What is feasibility analysis? Whether that project feasible for us, and many factors are considered. Once it's done, you talk about system development methodologies. What are various methodologies of system development? And finally, part A, control identification and design. Control is nothing but a safeguard measures. You identify the control and design them. So this is part A. Part B. So in simple words, part A talks about acquiring the system. You buy the system, you develop the system. What are the topics covered in this part? This one, 4. Now you have acquired the system, you have developed. Okay, now you are ready to implement. That is part B, information system implementation. So in that, the topics covered are system readiness and implementation testing, implementation, configuration and release management, the process. You migrate the system, infrastructure development and data conversion, and finally post implementation review, or PIR. What do we do in PIR is, we verify what we have implemented is achieving the objectives. That points to the business case. Post implementation review, it comes here. Okay, we verify that whatever was mentioned in the business case, that is a justification of the project, how it was feasible. I mean, have we achieved that? So this we do a PIR, and there is something called as PIR report. Once the project is implemented, PIR is done. That PIR report is submitted to senior stakeholders or senior management. Fine. So in the next slide, we are going to see importance of auditing, acquisition, development, and implementation. Now, before that, let me show you something. So you are with me on ISACA website. Huh? You see there are 5 domains in CISA. Domain 1, information systems auditing process. This is the one that we did this webinar earlier, and maybe some of you have not been present in that webinar. Hmm. So domain 1 talks about information system auditing process. So that is how what is required in, it talks whole about internal audit process that will make your mindset as an auditor top. Domain 2, it talks about governance and management of IT. Okay. Under IT governance, there are various topics. Governance is nothing but a set of rules. You create a rules, policies, procedures, and you have to follow that. And how you manage the IT. Once you have done that, you acquire system, you develop it and implement it. This is what our webinar for today. Now, let me tell you, each domain of CISA is interlinked. Okay. First domain, although it has certain weightage in terms of only number of questions. Okay. Fine. So you have to think as an auditor. Then you set a rules, that is policies and procedures. You how to manage your IT, and finally, I mean the domain 3, you acquire the system, you develop it, and you implement it. This is how it is covered in part A and part B. Fine. We'll talk about domain 3 scope. What is it focus on? So domain 3, it focuses on you acquiring the system, that is information systems acquisition. You develop the system and finally you implement it. Right. Now, ensure candidates can assess the effectiveness of the process used for these activities. It covers areas like developing business cases. We discussed what is a business case. It's a document that provides justification for the project, IT supplier selection, project management, system development, implementation readiness, okay, and post implementation review. Now, as I told you, part A for this domain 3 is information systems acquisition and development, which has four topics. You acquire system, you develop it, and part B is information systems implementation. Once you have acquired the system you have developed, okay, you talk about implementation. Under implementation, we have again four topics. So you can see here how the relation is there between part A and part B. We have domain 3, okay, information system acquisition, development, and implementation. Okay, under that we have part A, information systems acquisition and development, and then implementation. So now in the next slide, we are going to discuss what's the importance of auditing, acquisition, development, and implementation. Please stay focused. So ensure system align with goals, your organization goal, safeguard your assets, and maintain data integrity. Right? Now, integrity is something, no tampering with the data. Let me give a quick overview. What is, a CIA tried, a basic principles of information security. C stands for confidentiality, I stands for integrity, A stands for availability. Confidential is data is available to only those who are authorized. This is integrity. No tampering in the data. Availability, available 24 by 7 to authorized people. So these are three basic principles of information security. Now, while acquisition and development, okay, it involves selecting and implementing systems, including third-party vendors. Development and implementation include controls, that is safeguard measures to protect information and data. Now let us see a bit more a detailed breakdown about auditing, acquisition, development, and implementation. Okay, so what's the benefit of auditing? It ensures compliance. What does it compliance mean? Adherence to policies and procedures. Okay, identifies a risk. A risk is something, in very simple words, something bad might happen that will have an impact on our organizational goals. Okay, always remember one thing, IT, as you as an auditor, IT has to be in alignment with the business. IT has to be in synchronization with the business, meaning IT and business go in the same direction. Another benefit of auditing is it improves efficiency. So what you mean by efficiency is, let's say by, we're talking about this one, by identifying areas of improvement, audits can lead to more streamlined processes, okay, and better resource utilization. Next, maintains data integrity. So audit helps to ensure the accuracy, completeness, and reliability of data, and that is very crucial for making sound business decisions. This was all about auditing. Now acquisition. Okay. Under acquisition, selecting the right systems. Okay, so this phase involves a very careful evaluation of various IT solutions to choose the best that is fit for the organization's specific needs and objectives. Objectives everywhere in CISA domains, we'll see objectives because we'll be always talking in IT alignment with business objectives because we are working for the business. Yeah. Next, vendor evaluation. So vendor evaluation, uh, under acquisition. Okay. So acquisition includes scrutinizing third-party vendors, ensuring that their systems are secure, reliable, and compliant with relevant standards. Compliant meaning adhering with relevant standards. Optimizing resources. So acquisition aims to select a system which is actually effective, I mean that effectively uses resources while achieving desired outcomes. Now let's talk something about development. Okay, so under development, creating custom solutions. Okay, so development involves building new IT systems or modifying existing ones to meet specific business requirements. You will always hear this word alignment with business. Okay, you'll hear everywhere. You'll hear in CISA, you'll hear this in CISA, you'll hear this in CISM. Okay, so under development, managing change. So what is change? Change is something if you are going to implement, okay, some new software. Okay, it is very critical to follow a structured change management process. Okay, meaning what? You have to take raise a change, take necessary approvals from the stakeholders, document it, and then implement it. So managing change, development process actually often involves a formal change control procedures. Okay, why? To ensure smooth and organized implementation of new features or modifications. We cannot just go, okay, we have to implement a change, we have to this new change, let's go ahead. No, we have to follow the process. And during change management, very important aspect is you do risk assessment. What if what are the impacts of this change? What if the change fails? Okay, and what not, and so on. Very important, involving stakeholders. What do you mean by stakeholders? In project management terms, stakeholders is something, any individual who is related to the project. Now this individual can be internal, your staff, and external, which is a third party vendor. Okay, now when we talk about involving stakeholders or engaging stakeholders, effective development practices, okay, involve all stakeholders including end users, your system security administrators, developers, to ensure that the final product meets everyone needs. Indirectly it is talking about meets business objectives. Fine. Now under implementation. Okay, integrating systems. Okay, now implementation involves integrating new or modified IT systems into existing infrastructures, right? And ensure they function correctly. You must be having existing infrastructure. You want to implement a new system, but integration plays a very important role. Why? To ensure that the integration, the connection between the two systems is working as per the business needs. Next, under implementation, testing and validation. Now, so implementation involves a very thorough testing and validation. Why? To ensure or to verify that system meets the required specifications and performs as expected. Again, it is talking about it system, the new system is meeting our business needs. Training and support. Okay. So implementation, definitely it often involves training the end users who are going to use the system. Training on what? Training on how to use the new system and providing ongoing support. So this was all about importance of auditing, acquisition, development, and implementation. Now, in the next slide, we are going to discuss exploring the SDLC, that is a system development lifecycle. What is SDLC, system development lifecycle? In very simple terms, SDLC is a series of steps that individuals take when developing new systems. Very simple. We don't need to use any technical jargons here. Okay. So SDLC is a series of steps taken towards developing new systems. Okay, what's the primary goal of SDLC? Provide a structured and systematic approach to the software development, ensuring the creation of high quality, reliable, and maintainable software that meets user needs and customer expectations. How to achieve that? It has some series of steps. You can call it as 7 stages of the system development life cycle. Let us see those 7 steps. First, planning. Now, in planning, a stay focus is very basic and very core concept of SDLC. You are going to implement any new system, so you plan it. How is the implementation going to be? Okay, you prepare a schedule and all that stuff. Okay, planning is very important in any project. I repeat, planning is very important in any project. The live example is you want to do a CISA course. You joined InfosecT, doing CISA course. Consider it as a project. Okay. Now you plan it. What is the first phase in your planning? It will be join the course. Okay. Practice, test, final exam. So now let's take a case one. I will join the CISA course and I want to appear for the CISA exam. Fine. You have to do the planning, and your this project, it has to have very important focus here: start date and end date. If these two things are not there in any of your project goes in open loop. Okay, let's assume your start date for CISA course is, for example, 10th May 2025. This is, I'm talking CISA as a project. End date of this project is, let's say, August 9th 2025. So you have 3 months. Now you cannot say, okay, I have 3 months, I can prepare for CISA. No, you need planning. What is the phase one? I said here, course. Phase two, practice, max, final exam. Now each phase has certain checkpoints, that is milestones. Milestone one is completion of domains. Milestone two, practice test. Milestone three, final exam. It has to have a start date, end date, and planning for each week minimum, because your target, start date, target date, your planning should be your milestone, that is a checkpoint should be based on your total duration of the project. So Planning is extremely important. Next stage is analysis. You analyze and see what is a risk here. You analyze what if you are not able to give a daily, let's say, 2 hours of time. What if you are not able to what if you are in 1 week you are traveling, how you can cover that time. Analyze. Okay, once analysis is done, you design the system. Okay, after design, you develop the system. Once the system is developed, what you do is you test the system. Testing. Okay, now testing, let me speak something here. In testing, you verify first. You do something called as QA, quality assurance. Once quality assurance is done, you do something called as UAT, users acceptance test. You develop the system, you verify internally that the new system is working as per required by the business. Very good. After that, what you do, you hand it over to the users for their testing. And once they say we are all okay, all your new system is meeting our requirements, you implement the system. As simple as that. Okay, integration and implementation. Okay, then maintenance, the go live support. So these are 7 stages of a system development life cycle, SDLC, in a very simple way. Fine. So in the next slide, what we are going to discuss is what are the key controls of effective project management and governance. Okay, so effective project management and governance rely on key control mechanisms. Now, what do you mean? What I mean by key control is control means safeguard measures. Okay, so effective project management and governance rely on key control mechanisms that includes risk management, change control, communication, stakeholder engagement, and structured project management process. Now, risk management is you ensure that whatever the risks are in the project you identify, they are in simple words kept under control. Okay, remember one thing: a risk can be controlled, but a risk cannot be eliminated. Okay, you can control something, but you cannot say, okay, I will eliminate it. No, it never happens. Whatever sophisticated technology you use, there is always a risk there. Okay, proper change control process. Communication plays a very important role. You have to be an effective communicator. Hmm? Stakeholder engagement means you cannot manage people, you have to engage with the people and ensure you get the things done. Okay, and a structured project management process, a proper steps. Okay, now let's elaborate this more into various steps. Okay, now project management control process. So uh, what is project management control process? A structured process is very crucial for a very effective management governance. Okay, and that includes this one, planning, monitoring, and control. Now let's take the case what we considered as CISA as a project. You plan for CISA and you have to monitor it. You have to monitor your performance. I mean, the performance as a project, and if there is any risk, whether the project is going, ahead of behind schedule, or whether the project is exceeding the budget, so that it can be controlled. Okay, that is project management control process. So next is risk management. Okay, so risk management overall, what does it mean? You identify the risk. Okay, you do risk assessment. Okay, what do I mean by assessment? What is the chance or what is the likelihood that risk can occur, and what could be the impact consequence of each risk? And once you do this, you mitigate the risk response it is called. Okay, and you address the risk. So this was about risk management. Next, change control. Okay, change control. What does it mean? Managing changes, to the project scope, okay, schedule and budget. That includes, change request management. Change request. The short form is CR. Okay, CR management. Okay, very important. Impact analysis, and you implement the change. Okay, implement is implement approved changes. Any change that is not approved never goes in the implementation stage. Okay, next, communication. uh, People, take communication just as what you call it, just sending an emails. No, as an auditor, okay, or as a project manager, you have to be very effective communicator. Communication doesn't mean only sending emails. Ensuring that the communication reaches to some logical conclusion. Fine. Next is a stakeholder engagement. You engage people. As I told you, what is stakeholder? Stakeholder is nothing but each and any individual who is somehow related to your project. Stakeholders are internal, that is your staff, or external, that can be vendors and other peoples outside your organization with which you are dealing. Once this is done, very good. What is the next control? Monitoring. We took example of CISA as a project. You have planned it. You have mentioned all the details. Okay, I will do this, do that. I will follow the course materials and whatever. You need to monitor yourself. You need to assess your performance. And the last control is monitoring and evaluation. Why we need to monitor and evaluate? So that any risk can be controlled. I will again repeat. Why we need monitoring? We need monitoring to control any risk. Okay, monitor and control any risk before there is any impact. Minimize the impact in simple words. Fine. So next slide, what we are going to see is overview of vendor selection and contract auditing best practices. Okay. Now, in both vendor selection and contract auditing, so best practices prioritize thoroughness and proactive risk management. Okay, prioritize is list down, which is priority one, priority two, and proactive risk management. Risk management is proactive or reactive. What does proactive means? You assess your performance, monitor, and see if there could be any risk. Okay, this is proactive. And what is reactive? You act only when any incident happens, after an incident happens. So always proactive risk management is better. Okay. Now, vendor selection, okay, it involves defining clear criteria of evaluating vendors based on those criteria and conducting due diligence. It's not that a vendor will come and say, okay, I'm the best in the market, everything is there, uh, you know, uh, uh, because the marketing is good, you cannot just select the vendor. You have to do your own due diligence. Okay, like how you, before you invest your money, you do a lot of due diligence, right? What if what if not, what could be the risk? Okay, next is a contract auditing. Okay, so contract auditing was it does when you engage vendor. Okay, very important, right to audit. Contract is what is something agreed terms and conditions between two parties, first party, second party, and so on. So ensure that the contract which you are signing, it has very important, something called as a right to audit clause, meaning you have every right to audit the vendor, okay, to ensure that they have enough controls, they have enough controls which are meeting again your business objectives. Now, so let's see vendor selection best practices. Okay, define business goals and needs. Okay, develop list of prospective vendors. You cannot just see one vendor select. You have to develop a list. We have so many vendors. Let us evaluate. Okay, determine what is the vendor selection criteria. After that, you evaluate the vendors. Okay, how they will be fit for our organization. Okay, after that, you shortlist and meet potential vendors. Okay, this is we're talking about vendor selection process. Okay, draft and negotiate contracts. Okay, what does a contract has? The terms and conditions. Vendor is going to provide the organization certain service, and what are the terms, okay, and conditions. Fine. Definitely, you have to consider AI, artificial intelligence, and a technological aspect. Okay, because that is very important again to meet your business objectives. Building a very strong relationship is important. It's not that, I mean, vendor, it's like, he or they are an extended arm of your organizations. Okay, so strong relationship plays a very important role. Okay, once everything is done, monitoring performance and compliance. What does monitoring performance do? Everything is running smooth as per the agreed contractual agreement. Compliance, adherence to the policies. Okay, prepare for vendor transitions. What does it mean? Today you have vendor one, tomorrow you decided to transit to vendor two because that might be offering more better services and is cost effective and in all aspects. So okay, you as an organization, you need to be, prepare. Are you ready for the transition from two? Does vendor two has the same or better requirements than the vendor one, and all that? It's cost plays an important factor, yes, but there are other factors as well. Fine. Let's say contract auditing best practices. Okay, now when you have a contractual agreement, you have to define a very clear audit objectives. Okay, now what does it mean by defining clear audit objectives? Establish a very specific, okay, measurable, achievable, and relevant and time bound, that is smart objectives. Okay, objective has to be specific, it needs to be measured. Okay, it should be achievable, relevant, and time bound. Again, let me go back to the CISA as a project case. Now if I say okay, CISA as a project, and I give duration of 90 days. Okay, it is realistic. Now if I say CISA as a project, and if I take I will do CISA in 15 days, somehow it looks unrealistic unless you are out of work, out of your personal commitments, and you're doing, maybe you can, but this looks something unrealistic. So this is what smart objective is. Okay, identify what is the audit scope, involve relevant stakeholders. Yes, you have to involve the relevant, I mean the people who are somehow related. Okay, centralize and manage documentation. That is this focus, the best practices on better documentation, like policies, process, all the documentation related to the project. Okay, utilize contract lifecycle management tools. Okay, tools will definitely always help you. towards auditing contract auditing best practices. They will simplify the work, minimize the time. Conduct compliance audits. What does it mean? You have to do periodic audits, check, okay, whether all everything is under control and it is adhered compliance as per the policy and also to the regulations. Performed contract closeout audits. Okay, so contract closeout audits. What does it mean? Verify that all the contractual obligations have been met upon contract completion. Fine. Next, obtain and review third-party audit reports. Okay, so assess vendor compliance by reviewing third-party audit reports and certifications. Now, tomorrow a vendor will come to say, I have this capabilities. I have I have more than 20 clients, and they are from top 10 companies. Fine, that is a verbal, but what is the proof, what is assurance, another assurance that you are assured before you select him as a vendor that this vendor is it's it he they will meet our business objective. The best is, okay, or how you can get an assurance that this vendor is in compliance, okay, is that is by getting the third party audit reports. Someone else has audited that vendor and we can ask for reports. Give me the reports that certifies you as a good vendor, that certifies you as you meeting, you are capable of handling all the controls. You have enough controls to manage an organization. Next, you have to monitor vendor performance. We have done all the steps, but how you are going to monitor him, right? There is something called as SLA, service level agreement. In that SLA, a vendor agrees to you, okay, I will deliver these services, 10 services in this much time. So over a period of time, how you are going to monitor? There is something called as performance indicators. You can call it as a KPIs. Okay, that are the indicators that vendor is meeting consistently the contractual obligations. Fine. Then finally, address performance issues. Okay, so this we talked about what are the best contract auditing practices. In the next slide, we are going to discuss. Please stay focused. Very important. Risk management strategies in system implementation. Okay, so as I said, a risk management is a proactive approach that helps to minimize project delays, cost overruns, and other negative impacts. Now, risk identification and analysis. Okay, what do you do here? You identify potential risk, you analyze what are the likelihood, that is chances and consequences impact of each risk, and based on that you prioritize risk so that the resources can be allocated accordingly. You have 20 risks, you cannot say all the 20 risks as priority one, or the 100 risks identified are will give equal priority. No, out of 100 risks you have to prioritize them, that priority one are 10, priority two are 20, and the remaining 70 are priority 3. So if you are able to prioritize, you can allocate the resources accordingly. So developing and implementing mitigation plans. Okay, develop strategies to mitigate risk. These are talking about this. We are talking about a risk management. Okay, implement mitigation plans. How you are going to mitigate that risk and address that risk. Okay, and allocate resources and budgets. Monitor and review. Okay, continuously monitor risk. Yes, to keep it under control. Review and adjust your plans if required. Communicate risk information. Risk information has to be always communicated to the relevant stakeholders. Okay, what is our profile in terms of risk? Okay, so key strategies and techniques. And these are risk treatment options. Either You have identified the risk, assessed and evaluated. You decide either you avoid the risk, you transfer the risk, or you address that risk, mitigate, or you accept that risk as is. Fine. Now let us see how Domain 3 boost CISA success and career growth. Okay. So this domain focuses mainly on project management, okay, development, system development, and PIR, post implementation reviews. Okay. And this ensures candidates can effectively audit these processes. You as an auditor, you need to have an overview of this, okay, which is what domain 3 is assuring you. Okay. So enhanced, you should have enhanced understanding of system development, that is life cycle evaluation, control evaluation. Okay. Now improved project management skills. Under that, you need to aware of how to evaluate business case, project management policies. Okay. Increased relevance in the IT audit field. We are talking about how domain 3 boosts CISA success and career growth. In short, how you are going to get benefit from it. Okay. So increased relevance in the IT audit field, cyber security emphasis, agile and DevOps, cloud computing. Okay. Now, career advancement. Okay. Higher demand, I mean, for this, CISA certification, of course, and domain 3 is the one where it gives you a grip on how to evaluate, information system acquisition development process and the implementation process. Okay. Definitely will be having competitive advantage, and yes, there is a potential of increased salary. Okay, it all depends on what is your current role, you know uh, how, I mean, which new organization you are going to join. Now let me tell you what is the infosec trends expert led training and exam preparation advantage. Okay, at InfosecTrain we have a very detailed discussion on each topic. Acquisition development, we really discuss, we focus more and more on conceptual understanding, not just simply reading the slides and reading the topics. No, we really discuss, we have very intense discussion on real world scenarios, and after each section we do a practice CISA exam questions. In that there is a lot of discussions and debate, why this in this given situation, why a certain option is the most suitable to select.